they told me that it was a slow growing carcinoma and I could have had it for up to 8 years. I just couldn't believe that I'd got something growing inside me for possibly 8 years. It was back in April 2019 when I was diagnosed, and I'd started with a cough and a cold, and I went a bit chesty, but it seemed to have resolved on its own. And then in March, I started again with a chest infection. But I just put it down to the first chest infection, because I'd had no antibiotics or anything. I just put it down to sort of maybe it hadn't fully resolved, and it's caused this second one. So I was quite poorly with the second one, so I actually went to the doctors. I was normally fit and well. I'd had the odd cold like everybody does. But normally you shake it off and that. But yes, this was unusual for me, and I'm just so appreciative that the GP saw that normally I was fit and healthy. So something just sort of clicked with him, and he said, "Oh, you're normally fit and healthy." I'd not seen this GP before. He wasn't my regular one, and I said, "Well, yes, I am normally." And I told him about the one that I'd had over Christmas and New Year, and he said, "Well, I'd like to send you for an X-ray if I can." And I kept thinking back to how could I have caught it? I even asked them how could I have caught it, and he said they didn't know. They just said, it's something that's there. And I did work because I'm from Stoke-on-Trent, so I don't know if people are aware that we're known as the Potteries. So there was a lot of pottery factories about, and I did work in there for 20 years in a potteries. So I came across a lot of dust. I worked with wet clay. So I did wonder whether it stemmed back from there. I came out of hospital, I think it was May the 21st, and I was actually going on holiday on June the 26th. I was going to Fuerteventura. Now, the week before was when I saw the consultant, and I was a bit worried because I was up and about. I was on my feet. I mean, I was mobilising up and down the hospital ward, doing some exercises. And I did ask the consultant whether I'd be okay to go on holiday, and he says, "You'll be fine." So a month after I actually had my lobe removed, I actually went on holiday to Fuerteventura. Yes, it is important that you tell them everything, even if it was something that happened, a couple of months back. I think with working for the NHS and seeing patients myself, we always ask, has anything occurred before this, or, you must tell your GP everything. So I think because I'm telling my patients a lot to tell the GP everything, of course, I did tell him about the cold, and I think that was when he picked up on it, that I'd had two quite close together. So tell them all the symptoms that you're having. It's important that they know the symptoms, even if some of them haven't been in the last week, and maybe we're 4 weeks ago. It's important that they get all that information, because from that information they then have a story